Hi, hello, hi, and welcome. Welcome to our Tuesday night live. And my name's Terry Messenger, and I'm a world-class coach, trainer, therapist, and a success activator for now over 14 years. And it is my absolute passion to really help people to be unblocked and to step into their zone of genius. And so, because my passion is really to help people to bring out their magic. So, whatever field you are in, it doesn't matter whether you want to be a great sports person or whether you want to be a great leader, coach, whatever your life and wherever you are in your life, what this is about is it's about unleashing the absolute soul purpose within you. And of course, I also work very closely with coaches and leaders who are highly experienced and who are actually learning how to become a really a beautiful, powerful coach and be able to deliver something to the world that is absolutely incredible. So I'm going to be inviting a lady that is a spiritual healer. She's a transformer. She's a teacher. She has the most beautiful soul. She has a gift that is very, very similar to my own, although she has her own point of difference. And that is exactly what I do. I help people to step into their zone of genius. So she entered into into my top program, being already an experienced coach. And I'm going to bring her on. So as you guys are on, I'd just like you to say hello, drop a message, tell me where you are. And with no further ado, I'm going to bring on this beautiful lady. And we are going to add some value to your lives wherever you are across the world now. Hi, Maria. How are you?
Hi, Terry. I'm going well. Lovely to be with you tonight.
No, that is such a pleasure. And I have to say, you are one of those delights that I have really enjoyed working with.
That's really beautiful. Thank
Yes.
you, Terry. And the same here with me. Yes.
Yes. And so, look, I love what, you have, I love your spirit and your soul work. And you're very similar. You've got a very, very similar background to myself in your training. And I guess where you've come into into my high-end program, where we have actually helped you to birth something from your soul. And, tonight I want to talk about what we have birthed through the time, because obviously I'm a creatrix. So because, I love creating programs, and, as I have really just asked you questions, and it's been through your own life experiences, through your, obviously all the credibility you've got in your, in the absolute wealth of experience that you bring to the table, Maria. So, really, do you remember the day that we actually birthed this program we're about to talk about?
Yes, I do.
And now what I'd like you to do is give us a little bit of a background. So I'm going to go over to you now and just, I'd love to hear about why you became a spiritual healer, teacher, trainer in the very beginning. Can we start there?
We can. It goes back way before 1980. And my whole thing was to actually massage people. And when I used to touch their bodies, I'd go to their pain spot, not even knowing I was doing it. And when I touched, I said, oh gosh, that hurts. So I'd be feeling their pain through my hands. And the funny thing about that, I didn't know what I was actually doing, even though I learned how to massage and I was teaching all of this and the beauty therapy. So from there, I moved on to acupuncture and pressure points, learning about the meridians, and that gave me something else. But when I actually burnt out, in that period, I had to sell my business. I started nutrition and naturopathy. And then I followed that through, but I was still teaching beauty therapy and remedial massage. Now, somewhere along this point, when I was prescribing stuff for people, I was looking at them and I'm going, why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they taking their medication? Why aren't they following this program through of food? And then something hit me that moment with this particular two people. It's their emotions. And I thought, I'm going to learn about this. And that's the whole new path, which started in about 2005. And I went down that track.
Since you started in the 80s, you must have started when you were 12.
Yeah, that's right. So that taught me a whole new thing, and I began teaching this straight away and doing one-on-ones, and it was just amazing how things were moving so fast. But during that period when I was teaching, I kept upgrading my teaching levels, and through this is how I healed a lot of my elements, autoimmune problems. I had so much going on in my system that I don't know how I'm still here today, but it got all removed, released by the inflammation that I was creating, that flight and fight mode that I was in all the time. I understand now why I exhausted myself. I didn't know it in those days. I was living in that flight and fight and freeze mode all the time. And that was all due to all the traumas I had. But I was a successful businesswoman that I just kept going, didn't stop, even though I did have massages once a week to keep me going. But until I had done these other courses, it was only then that I realized, wow, what an awakening, that I had to heal these traumas. I had to go through all this change to be a better person, to eliminate a lot of inflammation and pain, and where I failed so many times in relationships. And I guess that's my number one when I look at it, and body transformation, because I had to do it for me.
And that's actually what you have got, what we have got right here. So I love what you've said, especially in relation to the fact that, you started with massage and how powerful it is, because, our body really is recording every single emotion. And so all that trapped trauma. And, I believe that, people are often, given this gift at birth. And, this gift of being able to lay hands on people and, actually sense intuitively where their pain is, very powerful. In fact, my journey is so similar in the line of starting out in clinic. Massage in that area was also my very first beginnings, even before I became a practitioner. And so, when I became obviously a practitioner, when you placed the massage, and I don't know whether you ever did this, did you ever find yourself utilizing the linguistic language, the subconscious elements of the work, and actually putting it together with the massage? Did you do that?
It's like I tuned into what was actually going on. It's like you could almost read thoughts or emotions, because cells speak to cells. It's a normal thing. And I used to pick up this language, and then it would come up with a little story, and I'd ask that question as a story, and it was always spot on, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm not sure whether the viewers would be able to take this on board, but when you think about it, I remember sometimes if a person was laying on the bench, and you know how you get some people who actually like to talk while they're being massaged. I don't quite understand how that goes, because they're quite often it was a luxurious, like really a Swedish massage I was doing. And if they spoke about all their problems and were going on and on about their pain and, the things that people can get stuck in story, I would actually take my hands off them and I would pause. And I guess you would know very well why that would be the case, Maria. And, because when a person is talking about their pain and their trauma, that is okay on one condition, that there's going to be a resolution. It's not just going to be a story where so many people, you would know this as a very experienced spiritual leader, coach, trainer yourself, that so many people just want to talk about their problems if they're not, they don't have that emotional kind of know to understand, and they think it's a good thing to do. But in actual fact, it's the same if you go to the hairdresser and you're sitting in the chair and you're talking about all of your problems, which apparently that's what people do. And because you're getting, your hair's getting touched, you're having that mind to muscle, you're making that association. So I would take my hands off the person and then I would ask them, if it's okay. And this was, I would actually explain to them the importance of, just being able to release. So, Ian has just put a link in the comments. So that is for myself. Now, Maria, let's talk about your program, because we've got, your program was really around healing your soul wounds. And, I guess one of the things that was unfolding is that the way that I helped you write this program, or how we designed it, was through your own experience. So would you like to just touch on perhaps healing the traumatic wounds of the past and, that specific module, that which is, I believe, module 1. Do you want to just touch on that a little bit?
Okay. It's a good one, and it's always like, where do I start with this? So I'm going to make it simple. If you're going through any panic attacks or anxiety, you're really, really stressed out, and you just can't find your way in this maze of life, right? And you're running around in that fight and flight and freeze mode, but you don't even know it, okay? And this sits in your autonomic nervous system, but we don't know any of this. It's unconsciously there, dormant. But when things trigger us from the outside, which is also internal inflictions, the trauma really wants to go, but doesn't know where to go, so it stays there. And we're actually using all of this energy. Your whole body is using all of this energy, so it's suppressing your immune system, right? All this trauma, the wounds of your past, what we genetically inherit, that we carry of our parents and their ancestors, and what we create is all there. And this causes a lot of suffering, a lot of stuckness, confusion. So much is happening, and we're carrying this heavy load. Now, we don't know what to do at that time. If we don't heal that traumatic stuff, the wounds, we're not going to be very healthy mentally, physically, or spiritually to move forward. We're not going to have healthy relationships. We're not going to know what our purpose and vision and mission is. We're not going to know a lot of things. And people keep on going that way and wondering why they haven't shifted or changed, or why aren't they drawing these beautiful relationships in, because they're still broken inside. They're still hurt. They're still going by their pain. So we're actually really bleeding, right? but we're never repairing that. So all that traumatic stuff is so important to clear and release the karmic past stuff that we've generated, brought on forward, and we can heal it in this time. So all of that, when it's freed, I call this the love and heal and the rise. These three is what you're going to have. It's simple words, because you are not going to rise if you're still down there, right? Doesn't matter what happens. If you get a kick in the butt and the universe is going to say, well, take this, wake up. And if you don't, well, things get worse. So number one, healing our traumatic wounds, healing our nervous system, healing our mind and body to align together with our heart and soul and spirit is our number one. That's why it's called Heal Your Soul Wounds.
Yes, and I love that because it's so true. And guys, this is what you can expect. And I had a gentleman, you know, Matt. He's also in my program, and he was on here with me last week. And what we were talking about, and this is what you can expect in a program like what Maria is talking about in her program, because we call it a ripple effect. So as Maria has unpacked, you know, when this trauma is stuck in the cells of your body, you know, we've talked about what happens and how that can impact your life, and even your, you know, obviously your immune system and those elements. However, here is the good news, because this is what I know Maria's program is going to look like. I know because we work through this together. But it's called a ripple effect. So, you know, quite often, you know, one of the biggest things that happen in our, you know, in the online space is it's like, what is your niche? Like, what is it? Who are you actually serving? And who are you speaking to? And this is where it becomes, I don't know whether I'm sure you will agree. In fact, I know you'll agree with this, Maria. For people like Maria and myself who have, you know, such a wealth of knowledge around the work that we do, what actually happens is when you dissolve, delete, and release the trauma from the cells of your body, it flows and has a ripple effect so that your relationships actually get better. Your success, because your confidence begins to rise. You'll find that your, you know, the overflow of all of the cornerstones of your life will suddenly improve because you have unblocked that trauma and stress. And Maria, it's interesting that your journey also went from being the massage therapist and then going into acupuncture and so, you know, many other intricate elements. So you've got a wealth of knowledge there. It's also interesting how you went from all of those elements and then you've taken it into this space where you've come through clinic and now you are online. But I want to talk about the point of difference, that's something that both you and I agree with. And this is something that, you know, I am fully aware that everybody will, you know, heal and release people or coach people or mentor people online in what they truly believe. But one of the areas that I know Maria does, and I feel the same way, and it's called touch points. That means even though, for example, someone like myself who has got a whole hybrid of all these digital programs, what I ensure is that I am doing live classes. I am having one-on-one sessions. Can you tell us about how your program will look and, you know, obviously, you know, what that person can expect if they're coming into your program?
Okay. Well, first of all, it's called Master Divine Communication, because it's all about communicating. It's all about understanding how we can tune in, how we can look at what's going on. So we're actually intuitively, I work intuitively, so I'm going to be helping people that join this how to intuitively scan their own system. It sounds a little bit, out there, but, I learned this years ago and I still do it. So when you work with this, you get to understand how to discern what the nagging voices are and where they come from and what actually causes them, so that we can get rid of the triggers and the sabotages and the self-doubt, right? Self-infliction. So everybody's going to be different. So when I do this, it's going to be a program for that individual one-on-one, where they're going to get the whole 5 programs, and this is going to actually change their mind and body to align with their soul, their heart, and their spirit. So when you look at the people that join this or want to do it, you're healing every pathway, every avenue inside of you to become the new version of you, so that you can actually launch that soul divine alignment business program, which helps you emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. So intuitively and energetically, we're healing and transforming the body, okay? We're healing relationships. And when I talk about body transformation and healing relationships, I'm actually working on the endocrine system, okay? And these are all to do with your hormones. It's so big that these people are going to learn how to do this when I talk to them. I'm going to be guiding this mastering of divine communication. It's going to come through them, and they're going to actually feel it, see it, and even smell it. And they won't even know what's hit them, because it's instant. You see it like a movie. You feel it and you see the change, and they actually see the release. So I hope I haven't diverted from that question, Terry. I just realized what I was saying.
I love it. I mean, I just, obviously this is, so much aligned with everything. And that was the other element. And that is that quite often people will say to people, because you've obviously raised a few points there, and, and really when you're talking about working with that system of people, within their body, you're talking about real deep cellular repair. So that's, really healing every molecule of the body. And interestingly enough, that, body transformation, a lot of people would be saying, well, are you a body transformation coach, or are you a relationship coach, or, are you a business coach? But what you've heard Maria just say is exactly what I'm talking about in relation to the ripple effect. So that means that when you're healing and you're going deep, like what obviously Maria's presenting in her program, you are going to find that, oh, well, this has changed and this has changed. And it's going to have, it's like being on a roll where a person's having a bad day. They get off on the wrong side of the bed, and then next thing you know, something happens, the cat chews up their lunch, I don't know, whatever. And it seems to go on and on and on. It just seems to be one thing after another. Well, do you know that you can change that state and you can turn the tide so it moves in the other direction? So this is where, what, Maria's talking about, you're starting from the inside first. And because you start from the inside first, that's the deepest work. And, Deepak Chopra says it beautifully. He says that the cells of your body are eavesdropping on your thoughts. So really, if you want to know the reason that you'll have cellular renewal and yet you'll keep the same disease if you have an autoimmune or anything like that, where people do, and you wonder why it seems to not change with new cells. The reason is because unless your thinking changes, the cells of your body cannot purify and renew. And this is what I know Marie is talking about with that deep work, and then that evolution of coming into then feeling better about yourself. And then it comes down to seeing the world, doesn't it? Like the way you see the world, the way you look at the world, you know, through your eyes. When you change, you know, I know you would find this, Maria, but one of the deepest issues that people have is quite often unforgiveness about a family member or someone of significance who really burnt them or hurt them at some point in their life. And quite often they're holding on to that. And they think that they need to hold on to it. But have you ever known anyone that swallows poison and expects the other person who hurt them to get the repercussions? It doesn't happen, right? And so you know, this is one of the deepest work I know that people need to do. And it's not about letting people off the hook. In fact, I've said it before, and that is that while you are holding someone in that captivity, I guess, really what you're doing is you're holding yourself hostage. You're holding yourself by hating on that other person or feeling bitter and angry. So therefore, you know, the only person you're damaging is yourself. When you let go, here is the profound element, and I know that this is what Maria is, you know, talking about with all of this kind of work that she does, is that when you release that person and set them free, you're actually then allowing them to then deal with their own karma. The universe is going, oh, you've let go. You're free. You are completely set free. And of course, anybody, it doesn't matter what you've done, you can change that karma, because really that's all about the healing, isn't it, Maria?
That is so true, because there's so much when people can say, well, I can forgive and not forget. Well, then you're holding a grudge, right? But there's other things holding that there because they don't feel safe or letting go, because the only reason they don't want to let go is because they don't want this to happen again. But when we work with the big major effects, that is going to go. But there's a special exercise I do with them where they witness everything and then they realize, oh my gosh, that was so easy, you know, because if you're going to hold on to the resentments, the regrets, and all of those things, they're big door stoppers, big walls. You're never going to escape. You're never going to change. You're never going to grow. So you're really stuck in those levels, which is pretty low vibration. So again, love, heal, and rise. And yes, you've got to work hard to get there, you know, because I know the steps I've had to take to set myself free and to feel this bliss and joy, because that's how all my elements actually healed. My illnesses, my diseases, everything that I had is a big number of them. I'm not going to go through it. And there's no pain. And if there is something that comes in, it's only because I just veered off the wrong track just for a moment. Oh, there's that pain, right? Why does that happen? I can tune in and find out exactly what I've done, and I'm okay. So that doesn't take long. It can be a day, half a day, can be an hour. It all depends. But I'm so in tune now that I don't want to go down there. But if something's right and you're not happy in your environment and you're not doing anything about it, well, the universe is going to give you something bigger to wake up from. Say, hey, you've done this. So what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Do you want to say
Yeah,
that?
absolutely.
Yeah,
What does it take for you to learn a lesson?
So yeah.
Oh, I love that. That is so, so cool. And I love how you, you are so self-aware that you've learned how to tune into that. So even, like I've obviously been on the scene while you faced one of your biggest adversities recently. And I'm like, yes, here's Maria's next upgrade for her to rise. So, and you see that and you feel that, and we don't look at, any of the crises that happen. I mean, yes, like human beings, I know that I feel a lot of, emotional energy some days that I don't like. And I'm constantly working on myself. And I don't know how half the world gets on out there when they don't know what we know, because we can roll around in the mud. And in a way, I said this to someone close to me just in the last 24 hours. I said, instead of feeling so revolting inside, and instead of feeling the way that you do, what is that going to do? You've got to learn to embrace it. You've got to learn to embody it, because when you embrace and embody even the most stuck emotions, that's when there's something that's really liberating about it.
The pain can be so hard. Okay. You can go to my Facebook page. I put a lot of little ads in there. It's even got a calendar link. You can book in a time with me. I mean, that's only about 20 to 30 minutes free, and I can go through a lot with you, and I can pinpoint what's going on in your life, and what to do next is going to be entirely up to you.
Absolutely. And that is so, so true. I'm just going to see if I can drop the link in the comments for Maria's URL page to find her on Facebook. So Maria DeCinque, that's spelled DE capital CINCQUE. And
CINQUE.
Okay, and I'm actually going to grab the URL for your page so people can friend you. And if they happen to be in my little tribe, and I see we've got more people on watching from our group. I think it's either from our group. And I'm just going to share that URL. So there we are. Maria down here, you can see that. If you actually click on that link in the comments, you will be able to find her page, and you'll be able to find all about that program. And I love, 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 love that, this is not just about selling digital programs because you have a wealth of knowledge like myself. I have now, I think I've counted 7 digital programs. This is about Touchpoint. This is about live. This is about giving people the digital. You can have that as a mastery for life, but the actual in-person, there's nothing like it. And guys, we are heading into a world where online is becoming the actual go. However, I can assure you that I've had the most what would you call it? Skeptical of clients who do not want to come online with me one-on-one because they've been in person with me before. So they want the 3D real me, right? I have said to them, look, come on board and share the experience one-on-one. And you tell me if you don't feel the same potent, powerful magic as you do in life, and you don't have the same outcome, I'm not going to charge you. And here's the thing. They are always surprised. So when you are actually meeting with Maria, and you are getting into her space one-on-one. That is going to be a very enchanting meeting, I can assure you. And I know because of experience, because I know you've got a lot of people you've served face-to-face, Maria. So I want your people to know this, that are watching, that when Maria does actually consult you one-on-one, not only will you have that experience, but here's something that's even better. She will be able to give you the recording, so you will have it for life. How good's that?
That is really great.
That's so super cool. So Maria, I just want to thank you for coming here on this live. I'm going to look at coming live each Tuesday at 8 p.m. and I will be doing some interviews with people, and then other times I'll be just coming and showing up and bringing the passion that's burning in my soul for that specific week. So thank you all. And, you know, is there something, can you give the audience one tip, one of your favorite tips for them to perhaps feel or be the best that they possibly can feel, say, for tomorrow, or even right now if you're in daylight and you've got the whole day ahead of you?
Okay, so what I was going to mention earlier, Terry, you know, people are afraid to even do things online. But, you know, the initiation of just having that one call online, how I can just tune in with them and they're with me and they get relaxed, because I've experienced this. So because you're more connected easily online, because I got to focus on you and look at you, right? And a lot of the work is done with your eyes closed. So isn't it better in your own private room, in front of a screen? You don't even have to look at it, but you're hearing my voice. And just by hearing my voice, I call this beautiful hypnotic trance of going inside you, and you can see what's actually happening by just listening to the voice, and you don't even have to say anything on this consult. And I find this quite relaxing if you just close your eyes and listen. And by closing your eyes right now and you listen to my voice, you're going to feel your heart beating. And all you have to do is put your hand on your heart. It's just where your sternum is. And you can feel your heart beating. It's giving you permission to step aside and drop out of your head into your heart. And at the same time, you're anchoring your feet down to Mother Earth. And as you do that, we're going to breathe you all the way up through your spine and spinal cord to your crown. And then I take it from there. And so it is.
And so it is. And let's command in what it is that you want. Yes, I am a healthy, vibrant, energized being. Make your statement. Own it, claim it, and thank you, Maria. Namaste.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you. Good night.